Close your eyes and imagine a time when there was no Earth, no oceans, only an endless universe, where a new story was about to begin. Within this endless silence, countless particles of dust and gas began pulling toward one another. Slowly, the foundation of a new solar system was taking shape. With every collision, this fiery world grew larger. No one could have imagined that one day, this burning planet would become the home of life's greatest story. This was not the Earth we know today. It was a raging ocean of fire. Every moment, asteroids crashed onto its surface, as if the universe itself were testing its strength. Then came a collision that changed everything. From this colossal impact, the path toward the birth of the Moon had begun. Earth was no longer alone. A new companion had arrived. The fire still raged, but change had begun. For the first time, the molten surface was slowly hardening into solid rock. Then the sky began to change. Dark clouds covered the planet, and the first rain finally touched this world of fire. The rain did not stop. Every drop battled the fire. And from that struggle, Earth's first oceans slowly began to emerge. The battle between fire and rain had finally calmed. In the silence of these deep oceans, nature was preparing its next miracle. Here, in the depths of the ancient ocean, simple elements began joining together. No one could have imagined that this quiet beginning would one day become the foundation of life. And then, for the very first time, life appeared in the ancient ocean. It was incredibly small, yet every future story would begin from this very moment. Before long, life began its first great journey across the ancient seas. Every new colony became another step toward Earth's remarkable future. These tiny organisms were doing more than surviving. They were quietly transforming the planet. With every small step, they were shaping Earth's future. They had no idea, but with every tiny step, the atmosphere was changing. One day, that change would open the door to a world of giant creatures. Earth was no longer the same. With each passing day, its face was changing. And so were the possibilities for life. Every wave carried another small change. What was once only rock and water was quietly becoming the foundation of countless stories yet to come. Nature is never in a hurry. It quietly shapes every change, and when the moment is right, those small changes become history. Life was no longer just trying to survive. It was beginning to explore new forms, as if nature itself was preparing for its greatest creations. The oceans were beginning to fill with life, but the land remained silent, as though it were waiting for a visitor who had yet to take its first step. The shoreline was still empty, but nature never leaves an empty world for long. Soon, this land would welcome a new chapter of life. Sometimes they begin in silence. This quiet shoreline was waiting for a change that would transform the world. With every wave, the ocean reached a little farther, as if it were preparing a new path for life. Nature was in no hurry. It was crafting its masterpiece with patience. From above, this world looked calm, but beneath its silence, life was taking another step forward each day. No one knew this journey would one day lead to giants. The oceans were no longer the same. In every direction, life was finding new forms, while nature quietly prepared the next chapter of its story.
The small changes that began in the depths of the ocean were now reaching the sky. Earth was quietly preparing for a future where life would become more diverse than ever before.
From afar, this was no longer just another planet. Every ocean, every cloud, and every change was quietly writing the next chapter of Earth's history. To any observer, this world would have seemed peaceful. Yet beneath that silence, one of the greatest journeys in the history of life was moving forward. Life was no longer confined to the oceans. Every new step to the moment when the most famous creatures in Earth's history would finally appear.
New forms of life were now appearing across the land. Each species was learning to survive in a changing world, while nature continued its greatest experiment.
Life was no longer confined to the oceans. Every new step to the moment when the most famous creatures in Earth's history would finally appear. Life was no longer confined to the oceans. Every new step to the moment when the most famous creatures in Earth's history would finally appear.
New forms of life were now appearing across the land. Each species was learning to survive in a changing world, while nature continued its greatest experiment. Every day brought a new challenge. The search for food, changing seasons, and unseen dangers, these struggles were slowly making life stronger and more adaptable.
The world was changing once again. Only those that adapted to the new conditions continued the journey. Nature was no longer just creating life, it was testing it.
And then, history bewriting a new name. This was no ordinary creature. It was the first step into the age the world would one day call. These footprints revealed one thing: a new ruler had arrived on Earth. But its real story was only just beginning.
Every step was taken with caution. In this world, survival belonged to those who stayed alert every moment.
The forest suddenly held its breath. Something was there, unseen, yet every creature could already sense its presence.
For just a brief moment, it revealed itself. There was no fear in its eyes, only the quiet confidence of a creature ready for a new world.
And finally, there it stood. Small in size, yet this was the creature that would begin the golden age of the dinosaurs. It wasn't a giant predator. Every meal demanded patience, sharp senses, and perfect timing.
One wrong move, and the meal would be gone. Now everything depended on its speed, balance, and perfect timing.
The hunt was successful, but safety never lasted long. In this world, even a hunter could become someone else's prey. The hunt was over, but the danger had only begun. Sometimes, the greatest threat is standing right behind you. This world didn't belong only to the strongest, it also belonged to the smartest. Sometimes, survival came not from fighting, but from staying hidden.
It had learned an important lesson. Speed alone was never enough. True strength came from making the right decision at the right moment.
Not alone.
Others like it had begun to appear, and together they were quietly finding their place in this new world. Constant awareness had become part of their lives. While some searched for food, others watched over the land. That awareness was helping them survive.
Danger doesn't always come in the form of a predator. Sometimes, nature itself becomes so powerful that every creature must bow before it. The storm had passed, but it had transformed the forest. Every new step would now lead to a new discovery.